Now we are going to understand the branching of bronchi. As we have seen, the trachea gets divided into two tube-like structures. Those are called as primary bronchi. The one which enters the right lung is called as the right bronchus, and the one which enters the left lung is called as the left bronchus. Now these primary bronchi, when they enter inside the lung, further they are divided into smaller tube-like structures, and those are called as the secondary bronchi. These secondary bronchi, they further divide into smaller and narrower tubes. Those are called as the tertiary bronchi. So this branching and rebranching of the primary bronchi is called as the bronchial intercom. Now these, as you can see in the picture, this trachea, it gets divided into two tube-like structures. Those are called as the primary bronchi or primary bronchus. The one which enters inside the right lung is called as the right bronchus. One which enters inside the left lung is called as left bronchus. Now these primary bronchus, they further get divided into small tube-like structures. Those are called as secondary bronchi. These secondary bronchi, they further get divided into smaller and narrower tubes. Those are called as tertiary bronchi. Now here, these primary bronchi, secondary bronchi and tertiary bronchi, they have C-shaped cartilaginous rings for their support. Just like trachea, you can see here in the diagram, these primary bronchi, secondary bronchi and tertiary bronchi, they also have the C-shaped rings to support them. Now these tertiary bronchi, they further get divided into smaller and narrower tubes. Those are called as the bronchioles. These bronchioles are without C-shaped cartilaginous rings. Now here, C-shaped cartilaginous rings are present up till only tertiary bronchi. Further, there are no C-shaped cartilaginous rings. Bronchioles do not have cartilaginous rings. They are about 1 millimeters in diameter and they are the widest tubes without the cartilaginous rings. These bronchioles, they further get divided into narrower tubes. Those are called as terminal bronchioles. Terminal bronchioles again further get divided into narrower tubes. Those are called as respiratory bronchiole. And these respiratory bronchioles, they further get divided into finer and narrower tubes. Those are called as alveolar duct. And these alveolar duct, they enter into the alveolar sac. Now these alveolar duct, they are about 0.5 millimeters in diameter. And this structure, the bag-like structure you see here, that is called as the alveolar sac. This alveolar sac contains about 8 to 10 alveoli in it. This semicircular structure you see here, one semicircular structure is called as the alveolus. So this alveolar sac, it has about 8 to 10 alveoli inside it. Now this bronchioles and its further branching is called as the lobule. Together from this bronchiole to the alveolar sac, all this structure together is called as the lobule. Now if we have to see the alveoli, this is how it looks. The alveolus, this is how it looks. This alveolus, it is lined, the alveolar epithelium, it is lined with simple squamous epithelial cells. Now as you can see here, the black lining of cells, this is the alveolar epithelium. This epithelium consists of the simple squamous epithelial cells. Now outside this alveolus, there is a capillary which provides the blood. Now which supplies the blood. Now here, this alveolar surface, it is moist. The surface of alveoli is moist. Mucus is present over there. That's why this surface is moist. Now as we have studied in the characteristics of a respiratory surface, that the respiratory surface should be moist. So here mucus is present on the alveolar surface, that makes it moist. The alveolar epithelium and the capillary endothelium plus the interstitial fluid together make the respiratory membrane. Now I said that there is a capillary outside the alveolus which supplies blood to it. This capillary, it also has a lining of squamous epithelial cells inside it. Now this epithelium of the cells, squamous epithelium cells, is called as the capillary endothelium. So this capillary endothelium, this alveolar epithelium and their basement membranes, plus the interstitial fluid which is present over here, all these things together make the respiratory membrane. Now inside this alveolus there is lecithin present. This lecithin acts as a surfactant. Now surfactant means it reduces the surface tension so that the alveoli do not collapse. So this is how the structure inside the lungs is. The trachea is divided into two tube-like structures. Those are called as primary bronchi. These primary bronchi are further divided into secondary bronchi. Secondary bronchi are further divided into smaller and narrower tubes. Those are called as tertiary bronchi. Now this primary bronchi, trachea, primary bronchi, secondary bronchi and tertiary bronchi, these are supported by the C-shaped cartilaginous rings. This tertiary bronchi further gets divided into smaller and narrower tubes. Those are called as the bronchioles. Bronchioles are without the cartilaginous rings. They are about 1 millimeters in diameter. These bronchioles, they further get divided into narrower tubes called as the terminal bronchioles. Terminal bronchioles again get divided into fine and narrow tubes. Those are called as the respiratory bronchiole. Respiratory bronchiole again gets divided into alveolar duct. This alveolar duct, it enters into the alveolar sac. This bag-like structure you see here, that is called as the alveolar sac. This alveolar ducts are about 0.5 millimeters in diameter. And this alveolar sac, it has about 8 to 10 alveoli in it. This bag-like structure is called as the alveolar sac, and this one semicircular structure you see here, that is called as the alveolus. Now if we have to see this alveolus separately, this is how it looks. This alveolus is lined with, the surface of this alveolus is lined with the simple squamous epithelium, and it is surrounded by capillary network. This capillary, it is surrounded by the capillary. Capillary also has a simple squamous epithelial membrane inside it, that is called as capillary endothelium. Now this capillary endothelium, alveolar epithelium and the basement membrane of these two, they together make the respiratory membrane along with the interstitial fluid which is present over there. They together make the respiratory membrane. Now inside the alveolus there is lecithin present. This lecithin acts as a surfactant, means it reduces the surface tension so that the alveoli does not collapse, and the surface of the alveolus is moist due to the mucus which is present inside it.